In the morning, you hear the bullhorn from the wagon master to hop to and get to your stations. You all know that you're supposed to be the rear guard, and so you just kind of take positions surrounding the rear cart, which is, like I said, a two-wheel cart. There's one horse pulling it. It's made of extremely thick oak, and it's got a giant padlock on the single door. And there are no windows or anything looking into the cart. But you know from the wagon master that he has some alchemical supplies in there, and some of the more wealthy merchants have decided to keep some of their goods and or valuables in this cart, and that's your charge as you head into Greenest, is to protect this cart. And so the caravan sets off towards Greenest. It takes you most of the day to get there, and you're traveling through the green fields is the region that Greenest lies in, and it's kind of lush rolling hills. The grass is very green, and it's a fairly idyllic day. You stop for lunch. Some of the middle guard goes to hunt for food, which you all have done before in your various jobs and positions with the caravan. And as evening approaches, the day passes more or less without incident. As evening approaches, it gets to be about 7, 8 in the evening, and the hills start to become slightly larger instead of just plains, and you begin to crest hills and go down into valleys and crest other hills with the slow-moving wagon train. You start to see small settlements. There might be a hut over here. There might be a small farm over here. And as you begin to crest the hill as the sun is setting, the last hill to see into the valley of Greenest, you all notice smoke on the horizon over the top of the hill. You can't see the town yet, as there's a hill the caravan is trying to crest. And as you do crest it, the caravan comes to a halt. You're just on this side of a hill, but you definitely can see over the hill that there are many columns of black smoke rising over the top of the hill. And the caravan is halted, which for this time of day and being so close to a destination is really not normal.
Oh my, there's lots of black smoke over there.
Mm.
I didn't really think it's very cold. Do you guys?
It does not appear to be good omen.
You hear some kind of horses whinnying and some kind of commotion from the front of the wagon train, but it starts moving again, and moving at kind of a quicker pace down the road. And as you all follow the rear of the caravan, you come over the crest of the hill, and you can see down into the valley, probably a mile away, the town of Greenest. It's a medium-sized town. It's not small by any means. But from your position on the hill, you can certainly see down into the valley the layout of the town. And there's a large keep. There's just one-story buildings all around, but in the middle there's a large keep with a tower. It looks something like that. And it is very clearly in flames. There is almost all of the buildings are burning or smoking, and the town is clearly experiencing some. I mean, you don't know what. There's smoke all over, and there's flames and fire coming from everywhere. Outside the gates of the city, slightly closer to you, maybe a quarter mile down the road, you see a small farm, a farmhouse, and maybe 3 or 4 outbuildings. There's a large flock of sheep off in a field to the right, and it's a fairly large farm, probably where Greenest gets a lot of its supplies. It's kind of a farm for Greenest. And through the smoke, you can kind of see, circling the tower of the keep, a very large, shadowy shape that seems to be flying back and forth across the ramparts of the tower of the keep.
Oh my conclusion that it wasn't very cold. Those are definitely not chimney fires.
The shadowy shape that has been circling the tower of the keep begins to grow larger and larger on the horizon. It seems that it's probably 500 feet off of the ground and seems to be approaching the caravan. And if anyone wants to look very closely and give me a perception check, you might be able to tell what it is.
I will definitely. That does seem like something Andrew would want to look into here.
Ooh.
Clearly,
There
I
we
need
go.
to do something this game.
My eyes are teared up from the soot and the ash that's in the air.
Yes, the suffering that seems to be going on in Greenest has clouded your vision. Well, Julian, you can clearly see that it's a large winged shape that's flying towards you. And even though the sun's low on the horizon, you can see glimmers and glints of blue coming off of the shape as it approaches and grows larger.
Oh my, that's getting closer.
Yeah,
Maybe we should get off the road.
as it gets even closer, you see a wagon that you recognize as the head wagon speeding off past you, back along the road. And the wagon master saying, "You boys better get out of here!" As the shape gets closer and closer, it's moving quite quickly now. You can all clearly see that it's a large adult blue dragon. And the front of the caravan starts to scatter. Just the people run off into the woods, and as the dragon,
I'd like to do some dragon lore.
interrupt me at any point.
What do I need to do for that? Is that a history?
I would say that's probably.
Or
I could go history. I could probably go arcana.
I'll mention Julian's probably hiding behind the cart at this point.
Yeah, whatever actions you guys want to take, I'm. Feel free to take them at any time.
The Kana or history, either or.
What are you
I get
trying to
advantage.
discern here?
I get advantage, or no, I don't get advantage. I get. So I'm just trying to see what all I know about a blue dragon.
All right, let me look at your business here. Oh wow, you know a lot about blue dragons. You know first and foremost that blue dragons are chromatic. They're generally, not always, but generally evil. That they are extremely powerful, and that their breath weapon is lightning. and that like all chromatic dragons, they generally seek to be rich and gather treasure, and they also seek to be live solitary lives. It's very, very unusual. None of you have ever seen a blue dragon before. It is extremely unusual to see one out of its lair for any reason. As it approaches closer to the front of the caravan, you see it open its mouth, and it's flying towards you along this narrow road, and it opens its mouth, and you see the yellow electricity start to gather, and
I'm gonna yell at everybody, get out of the way.
Run!
you all have one full turn as the dragon unleashes its lightning breath on the front and kind of does a pass over the whole caravan. You'll have one turn before it is going to basically fry you.
So what's the terrain like surrounding the caravan?
It's rolling hills, but it's fields. It's flat. There's just grass on both sides of you. Far distant, probably a mile, you can see part of the forest, but it's very far away. You're in a large open area.
But there is a field. So is there tall grass there? Anywhere we could hide?
It's it's not like mowed grass. It's probably knee height grass. You could try to hide there. You can do anything, but it's going to be within you.
If you wanted.
You could. Yeah, I mean, you all are following closely this kind of very thick oaken cart, preceded by other wagons, more traditionally made, just pine wagons. Some of them are covered, some of them are not. You do see some people fleeing from the wagon train. The horses are starting to whinny and try to run off.
Orland's gonna jump off the cart and run to the forest. That is the deepest forest that he can find within 25 feet.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I
There's
was
also
gonna also ask, like, go ahead.
Bushes work as well.
bushes.
Anything to hide 3 foot in.
There's.
I was gonna see if I knew anything that if I would know anywhere that be safe based on this type of dragon, what would give me the best chance for hiding from an attack, since I know so much about blue dragons.
I'm going to tell you to make, and I know it's generally for discerning like people and their motivations, but if you just want to discern like the best thing to do in a situation, I'm going to say make an insight check. You can make an insight check, or you can make a 6. I mean, based on your previous Arcana or History roll too, you know that they breathe electricity. You know that wood is not conductive of electricity, so you think if you got underneath the cart, you would probably be okay underneath the cart that you're following, the real cart.
Well, seeing how I'm wearing chainmail, I am definitely going to get down on the cart or underneath the cart and play dead.
Julianne is already underneath the
the
cart.
best I can.
Okay. Also, I had mentioned probably it's not far. Maybe an eighth of a mile, maybe just a couple 100 feet in front of you is this farm with several outbuildings, a farmhouse. There's a large flock of sheep kind of grazing in this grass off to your right. Again, this a few 100 feet. So Ander and Julian dive under the cart, and the rest of you.
I head to the farmhouse.
Okay. Gore runs for the farmhouse.
Do y'all have any room for me under there?
Yeah, it's a relatively big cart. You could all fit under there.
Okay, I'm gonna dive under there too.
Okay. And Warlin, you took off for the woods.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely like in the bush, any kind of bush that can conceal
Okay.
3'40" of me.
You're small enough that, I mean, if you just jump down and like laid in the grass, a little ways away, you basically have total concealment.
Works for me.
So as you all kind of scatter and you see the rest of the caravan scatter, you see the blue dragon open its mouth and just do a strafing run across the caravan, destroying horses, people that haven't quite made it away, electrocuting and bursting into flames wagons. The people that got underneath the cart are safe from that, and Gore, you were able to get away far enough. The dragon definitely saw you running away, but it didn't turn. It didn't do anything. It just went along the caravan and destroyed it, and you basically all were able to get to safety since you were in the rear by the time the dragon got to your position. And you hear the thundering kind of flap of its wings as it kind of circles around after passing the caravan and goes and lands in the middle of the field of sheep. And from each of your positions, Gore, as you're running towards the farmhouse, and I think probably everyone but Warlin can see that the dragon just lands in the field of sheep and kind of starts playing with them, almost like a cat plays with a ball of yarn. Like it picks up a sheep and kind of bats it around, kind of looks over, casts askance at the wagon train, what it's just done, and kind of is like, whatever. And it just starts kind of playing with these sheep and maybe eats one, maybe skewers one with one of its claws and bites its head off. It looks at you and sees you all hiding under the wagon and just kind of rolls its eyes and looks back towards the sheep and it is playing with the sheep. After a second, it flaps its wings and takes back off in the direction of the keep. And you can see it kind of fading on the horizon and shrinking as it circles back towards the keep. But it seems to be flying it's flying casually. It's really flopping around kind of in the sky and just like bleh, whatever. And that is the end of our first episode